Welcome to Chatting in Cars with Craig and
Adam.
So today's video, if you've been following along in our new YouTube channel, Adam is starting his own car dealership. You've done it all. I haven't really done much. I just kind of help you if you have a question. I've done it before. You haven't, so he'll call me. Hey, what do you think of this? Oh, this is what I did. Good. I'll do that. Now you have your dealer's license.
Exactly.
So our first few videos were about the process of Adam getting his own dealer's license. He has his own business, his own entity. It is not affiliated with Flying Wheels. You do your thing, I do my thing. We make these videos.
Right.
Kind of neat. I'm going to try to make it so it's not always me talking. I've created an entire channel of just me talking, so I'm adjusting.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I will say the theme, and then you can discuss your stories. Today's video is a what would you do scenario. A car dealership comes with some serious headaches.
Yeah.
And
small victories and then other losses.
Yeah. Like real highs and real lows. So it reminds me of Jiminy Glick's high highs and low lows, because you're like on top of the world because you made a ton of money on something, and then crash, someone's mad at you.
Yeah.
And you're a jerkus, and it sucks.
Pretty much.
So today's video, what would you guys do? In the comments, tell us how you would handle this, what you would do about it. I'm going to let Adam tell the story, and then my opinion is over years of being skewed by people, by the public.
Yeah, jaded.
So I'll tell you my opinion on what I would do after. I want to know what you guys would do as just regular people that haven't been burned over and over. You tell your story.
Right. Yep. So I'm not really new to this. I've been buying and selling cars for quite some time, but I just don't do it at the volume that Craig does usually. So I like to work on the classic Japanese cars. I've always been in love with the Nissan 240SX, so I've been a collector, hoarder, whatever you want to call it. Recently, I finished a restoration on a 1990 240SX. I painted it Lamborghini titanium, had some really nice parts on it, some authentic Japanese parts, which is really cool. By the time it was done, it was a beautiful car, one of the nicest 240s in the area. If I do say so. So. Sorry for sounding a little arrogant, but they're mostly ratty cars out there.
I should establish this or set this premise that you build old Nissan 240s really, really well. And you've created a name for yourself in the 240SX community for building Nissans. Okay, so we've established that you have a name in the community, because that will lead in later.
Okay, yeah. A good reputation. Not a huge reputation, but a good reputation. So anyways, I finished this car. I'm very happy with it. I've had it for years, so it's kind of sad to see it go, but I'm trying to grow a business. So I need that capital to invest into new cars, and I don't need 6 cars in my personal collection. I can have a rotating stock all the time now, which is going to be my new goal.
You need to move metal now.
Right, and I'm only allowed to have so many cars on my property anyways.
How long did that Nissan take you to rebuild?
So I've been working diligently for the past 6 months on it, but on and off for 6 years. So I've had it for a long time. I had it back when we had the shop in Hampstead, back in that area.
Oh, wow.
So it's been there a while.
All right, but let's say like you started 6 months ago, so it was a 6-month process to really get it sellable.
Yes,
the time you got motivated. It wasn't a short thing.
Right. It was probably 50 to 70% of the way done before that, and then I did like the final stretch over the past 6 months. Tried to be very attentive to the details that need to be done. And by the time I was done, I was very happy with it. So I posted it up for, fair market value in this day and age, which for a 240 is surprisingly high.
Actually, you had a marketing plan, because Adam and I went to the Mecum auction.
Yeah.
So you said, when we're in Florida, I'm going to start posting this car up on the forums and the pages, get the attraction to it, right?
Build a little hype.
Build some hype.
Yeah.
You got back, and then it sold
It sold instantly, yeah. I posted it while we were in Florida, and that was exactly what happened. I posted the YouTube video in my for sale ad, because I knew that would generate some attention towards the YouTube channel, get some new followers, hopefully. That worked. And then the car ultimately sold in less than a week. So everything did go to plan very well. A young kid bought it, which is not, unusual. It's kind of it's a young kid's car. Yep. That's when I got into him. Super nice dude, works at a high-end car dealership, so he's a technician.
Nice.
So I felt good about that. You should know his
stuff.
Right, I felt good about that. He's good at working on sports cars. It's not his first rodeo. He's got the means to work on it and all this kind of stuff.
I feel like I'm lower than you.
Yeah? Well, now you're a little higher than me. Anyways, I felt super good about the home it was going to. The kid who was buying it instilled a lot of faith in me, that it was going to a good home, somebody who could take care of it. If an issue did come up, he could fix it, and it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Where did you find it for sale?
He found it actually on my Instagram. So you never really know where someone's gonna find it.
So the reputation of you building 240s, he found it on your page.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
So I was super happy it would go to somebody who really obviously likes these cars, but somebody who is equipped to work on it and handle any issues that it will inevitably have.
Yeah, and then he can take care of it. Doesn't become your problem.
Exactly. I asked him questions like, oh, do you have a garage to park it in? All these things. And he's like, oh, yeah, definitely. I said, you don't want this to be your winter car, but it can be your daily driver. So spring, summer, and fall, you can daily it, but I wouldn't drive this in the salt and snow at all just because these cars rot so badly. It's a true survivor at this point. You know, you don't want to see it rust out in the next couple of years.
What'd you sell it for?
I sold it for $14,000.
Cashola.
Cash,
like
yeah,
$100
cash
bills.
But, you know, if you wanted to build that car and restore it and get that paint job and everything that was into that car, you'd be a lot more than $14,000 plus all the time going into
Just to put in perspective, that Skyline right there. You painted that Skyline.
Right.
And really, you did me like a family favor on it. What do you think your work would have cost you just to paint that car?
If anybody else going off the street to a shop to get a job like that done, it easily would have been probably $10,000.
Okay. So 10 G's. Yeah. And I don't think, aside from the actual color, you probably put any less work and labor into that 240 Skyline?
No. I mean, I did I did a lot of extra things on that car just because you're my brother, and I wanted it to be as nice as we can possibly make it without breaking the bank too much. But regardless, I did do a deep, detailed restoration on this car inside and out. It was complete down to a bare shell. The engine was gone through and really doing well. Had a lot of expensive, valuable parts on it, and the parts market in Japanese parts is crazy these days. So unfortunately, a lot of these cars are more valuable in pieces than they are as a whole car. You could actually take them apart and make way more money selling the parts of the car rather than selling the whole car. But it's just kind of sad and depressing to dismantle something so beautiful.
So let's get to the meat and the potatoes.
Yeah.
All right. The meat and the potatoes is this: you sell it, you get the $100 bills. He's happy. You're happy. He knows what he wants. You put a ton of time into this car. He leaves.
Right.
Phone call number 1. I'm going to jump in right away because I know this. As soon as I get a call, customer never calls me to go, Craig, I love this car.
Yeah, it's never good news.
Hey, I just want to say thank you so much. Love the car. Never, ever has happened. And if it has, it was like after the fact because I bumped into them and randomly, they're like, love the car. That's not normal. What is normal is the call that Adam got, which was...
So he called me, actually he texted me first and said, hey, the key broke off in the door. So, then he called me and I answered. And I'm like, what happened? He said, oh, the key broke off in the door. I said, well, keys don't just break off in a door. What happened?
Right.
And he's like, well, I tried to lock it and, the key it broke off.
Broke it off in there.
So he bought it on a day that was probably like cold. 0 to 10 degrees. Yeah. And then,
he just kept jerking it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You put too much force, something's going to break. Something's going to break eventually.
All right, so let's jump into this because I want to know, first of all, with him calling you, I don't know what his expectations are.
Right.
Does he expect now like, hey, I need you to fix it for me? Yes, that is normally the expectation. Hey, I broke this. I need you to fix it. It's never like, can you or will you, please? It's, hey, I need you to do me a favor. Oh, okay. Yeah, fix something for free? Okay, that was out of not warranted? Yeah, sure.
So, I can understand it's a cold day. You weren't expecting it. You're not used to older cars with an actual key to open the door, maybe. I don't know. He said, what are we going to do? So, no disrespect to him. If you're watching this, he's a good kid. It's a tough situation. So, I said, well, there's not much I can do other than offer advice, which is what I did tell him to do. If you need advice about this car, call me. I'm happy to talk you through anything. So he did, and that's totally fine. So I said, what you need to do is you have to get the broken part of the key out of the door lock, and you have to take it to a local locksmith. And I know a local locksmith who's near him where he lives, so I suggested them. I'm sure a key for that car is only going to be like $5 or $10.
Right.
So I said, get duplicates. Have a few keys for it, just in case, And then I told him to use some lithium grease or something like that inside the lock. Since it's cold out, it might have seized up a little bit. I don't really use it as a winter car. So, just work the new key in there and try to free up the tumblers, or he can bring it back and I'd look at it, whatever. That was 30 minutes after he bought the car. Anyways, it's late at night now, probably, it's about 7 o'clock, and I'm playing with my daughters, getting them ready for bed. And then he calls me.
Calls you again. The same day?
Yeah, same day.
Same day. Like, how many days after the purchase?
Same day. It was 30. The first call was 30 minutes after he bought it. The next call was
and then called you
45 minutes after he bought it.
Okay.
Again, I told him to call me if he has issues or questions about the car, because I want to make sure that he knows, I know how to work on this car.
You know the car,
If I can give him some advice on what to do, I'm happy to do so. So he said, hey, my sister got kicked out of her apartment, has to move back in with my family, and now I don't have a place to park it.
And that sounds like a him problem.
And I said, well, an hour ago, this wasn't an issue. We've been talking for a week now to sell this car and get this, because he messaged me as soon as I posted it. We were going back and forth. He actually came and checked out the car a few days before and then came back with the money a few days later.
So he had days to think about it.
So it wasn't just like an impulse thing. We talked about it for just about a week. And, he even told me he had a spot to park it. I specifically asked for that. And then he said that, his sister's moving back in. His mom says he has to get rid of the car. which is all, it's understandable. Family issues happen to everybody.
Yep.
Everybody deals with that kind of stuff. But it's also a little suspicious because he just bought it. What if something broke on the car? What if the clutch is burnt out? What if the engine is destroyed? And again, I'm not saying he would do this because I like him and he's a good kid.
No, accidents happen.
What if he committed a crime and hurt somebody with the car, and then the car is completely recognizable that I did it because I posted all up on my YouTube channel?
Yeah.
It just seemed like a big liability to me, and I don't know. So I talked to you about it, and it was questionable. I told him I need to talk to my wife tonight. Let's circle back tomorrow, and we can come to a decision of what we should do next.
I'm going to jump in.
Right.
Okay. So now I don't need to recap the story. You've already heard the story, but we have your wife's perspective, my perspective, and your perspective.
Right.
Okay. Which we will tell you in a minute after we hear your opinions. But you are new to this business. Okay. You're not new, like you've built cars and you've sold cars, you've created a name for yourself. But you're new, like in this industry now. This is our Start Your Dealership channel, where now it's your job. It's your livelihood. It's how you put food on the table. It's how you pay for daycare and school and clothes.
Yep.
Okay, and your mortgage and the heat. So now you have to think about numero uno and not just being the nice guy.
Right.
Okay, but you also have a name to uphold. So you being the Nissan 240 guy, selling it to a kid who found it on your Instagram, who is going to say, "I bought this car from Adam," might not be the same anymore. Like, what's your opinion on how he feels about you at this point, and how do you base your decisions around that?
Well, that's it. I have to try to balance that. I don't want to damage my reputation by people talking smack or anything like that, which I don't think he will. Again, it seemed to end on good terms, or it's not even really ended, but it seems to be on good terms currently. So it's a tricky situation where I want to keep my good reputation and my good name, but also think about giving up 6 months of work or more. Plus, it's also a financial investment. I've invested a ton of my time and a bunch of my money into this car. Taking it back is a liability because I could be losing all of that, most of that.
What if you learned how to drive a standard transmission in your car?
Right, leaving my house.
Like, oh, this isn't going to work for me.
Right, it's possible.
Give it back with a smoked clutch.
Right, or worse.
Or worse.
So it's tough to say, like, oh yeah, sure, I'll just risk 6 months of my free time plus
be a good guy to help you out,
plus all the financial investment that I've put into it just to be a good guy and help him out. So it's a big risk and a liability. And after discussing it with my wife, my brother, my father, myself, I decided.
Was everybody unanimous besides you?
Unanimous. 100%. Everybody was on the same page.
Don't say what everybody said yet. How did you feel before talking to everybody, besides some guilt?
I felt some guilt and sadness because I actually love this car. It seems strange to feel emotion over an inanimate object.
You have a ton of cash in your hand.
But
how do you feel?
I have a good stack of cash that I'm happy with. I have the parking spot now for my black Skyline in the garage, which makes me so happy. Honestly, that makes me happier than the cash does. That my Skyline is safe and it's in the garage now because I got that 240 out of there. And that comes back to having that emotion for these cars, this love for these cars. So it hurts to think that, everything has gone so well with this car, and now it's somewhere where it may not be taken care of as well as it should be. It's somebody who doesn't want it as much as I had hoped. Kind of a tough situation where it hurts my heart, as weird as it sounds.
I say that all the time. It hurts my heart. So, back to Jiminy Glick. You called me. Hey, sold the 240.
All excited.
So excited. Real high highs, and then, like, right after that, low lows. And that is the world we live in. So I want to know what you guys would do to help this guy out, who's probably a nice kid. All right, probably a good kid, probably got stuck in a bad situation.
Definitely.
Want to be a good dude, right?
Yep.
I will tell you 100% of the time that I'm a good dude. No good deed goes unpunished. Every single time it bites me in the butt and then makes me regret being a good dude. 100% of the time.
Right.
And I always I'm skewed, and I always tell people, listen, I'm sorry, I'm not Walmart. You can't return the car. All right, I can't take it back. I can't make your problem my problem.
Right.
You were here, you looked at it, you liked it, you bought it, you signed no returns and initialed it. I can't make it my problem. I'm sorry. I have family. I gotta pay bills.
It's a business. It ain't UNICEF.
Right. What movie is that from? I bet someone will get it. A lot of people will get it.
Totally.
So I always say this: don't make your S my S.
Right.
Like, don't turn your S into my S. It's not my S right now. It's your S. It's your problem. You figure it out. I'm sorry.
You're coming off a little aggressive, and it's like it's almost like the bad image of the car dealer.
I am right now, you're saying?
Yeah, a little aggressive.
Because that's how I feel.
And I don't want to have to be that way, but there's really one way or the other when it comes to owning a business. And, you have to choose your family.
I think you can see how I feel over the years. Right now.
Yeah.
Because I've been a good guy.
Yeah.
I've been a good dude. I've tried to help people out, and it 100% bites me in the butt. And then guess what? The bank doesn't care when my mortgage is due. The electric bill doesn't care when they're going to shut off my electric because, you were a good dude this month? Let's leave your electric bill on.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
And,
you know what? Sorry to interrupt you. The kid's cool. Like, 14 grand back in his pocket. you now can't pay a bill.
Right.
So don't let it affect you.
Yeah, it's tough, because I've been on both sides of it too. So I'm not now I'm on the side of it as the car dealer who's selling the car that thankfully doesn't have any issues, doesn't have any problems. It is a good car he got his money's worth out of the car. But I've been in the situation where you buy a car and now you're stuck and you just want your money back, or you want what you feel is right. Look at that Nissan Rogue that I bought for my wife from the auction upon your suggestion. It had a bad CVT right away. As soon as I left there, it wouldn't go over 25, 30 miles an hour.
From my brother's pregnant wife.
Yeah.
All good? All
Looked
good.
us both in the eye and said, the car is good to go. It's awesome.
Bad transmission on the way.
It had like 110,000 miles on it. Beautiful Nissan Rogue. It looked like it was still in new condition. So I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I could see my wife, having a baby in this car, and it'll be okay.
And that is why I don't feel like much remorse in these situations, because what'd you do? You figured it out.
I had no choice to figure it out. It cost us $4,500 for me to replace the transmission myself.
Every time I buy a car, I just figure out the problem.
Right.
I try to fix what I can fix.
Yep.
And I figure out the problem. I bought a boat that sinks. I figured out the problem. Yep. I bought a house that was dilapidated. Figured out the problem.
That's
it.
it.
Sometimes stuff happens and you got to figure it out, and the world isn't going to baby and coddle you, because the world is tough. And now I'm hardened and sour because of it.
Yep.
But I figure it out.
And every time you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you're all set.
And then I just do it. So I want to know how you guys would handle this, because you're really seeing two perspectives. I'm like the long-term car dealer, which I never wanted to be.
Yeah.
And now I've just been stomped on and slightly sour about it. You are the new car dealer who wants to do everything on the up and up for everybody, like be the best person so everybody likes you and your reputation's on the line.
Yep.
You have to find the middle ground. And to be quite honest with you, what I've found is you can't make everybody happy. Not everybody's gonna be happy. And when some people deserve to be treated extra, they get that extra special treatment when they're good people. I go out of my way, and if you watch my videos, I've gone out of my way a lot of times for people that I feel deserve it. I've also done that for people that didn't deserve it, and they really took advantage of me.
Yep.
So it is a case-by-case basis. I think every situation's different, but I have a no returns policy.
Right.
Like, I have kids and I have employees, and everybody has to get paid, and it can't be someone else's mistake that turns into my mistake.
Right. For good reason.
And
Absolutely.
How did you end up finishing it? Where did you leave off?
So, I told him, unfortunately, it's too much of a liability for me and my family to take this car back. I'm more than happy to put you in contact with some of the other people who were interested in this car.
Easy.
So I had a line of people who wanted to buy this car.
Best case scenario, really.
And so I forwarded them all towards this guy who said that now he has to sell the car because he can't keep it. But there was, no shortage of people who were interested in it when I sold it. I had at least half a dozen that were scheduled to come out in the next week who sounded pretty sure that they were going to give me my full asking price. Nothing's a guarantee. I know that. So I pushed a bunch of people his way. I sent him all the photos and the actual typed up listing. So if he wanted to make a new ad for it, he could do that. So I feel like I did what I could within reason.
Yeah.
Without, burning a bridge or, leaving a bad taste in anyone's mouth.
I would probably say that was your best case scenario.
Yeah.
That was probably handled the best way you could do it. Let him handle his problem, and you can assist him to do it himself.
Right. Odds are he's going to sell it in a week, just like I did.
Right. And I'm sure he's a good dude, and if he's watching this, there's no shot at him.
No, not at all.
Mistakes happen. He probably got himself in a bad situation. That sucks. It happens to everybody, but it's just don't make your problems my problems is how I feel pretty regularly now because of this job. Again, in all these scenarios, I love to know how you guys handle them, because every person's different. Everybody's been through different situations, and I've been on both sides of the story. So let us know what you think down below. If you like these stories, tell us. If you don't like these stories and it turns out to just us be talking too much and kind of like a podcast, right?
Yeah, basically.
A little bit of a podcast thing we have going on. If you like it, we'll do more. We'll tell you the stories. So tell us in the comments if it's good, if it's bad, what you want to learn more of, what we should do next. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all later.
Adios.
Adios.